is the inherent problem here that there's no end here? This movement sort of can't end. If you were to look at what's happening right now at Evergreen State College, I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with this, with Professor Brett Weinstein, who I had on my show. He quite literally was opposing a day where they were going to tell white students not to come to campus. So he was genuinely opposing racism. But that didn't stop the bigoteer brigade from jumping out, and now the campus has been closed for a couple days over the last few weeks. He hasn't been back on the campus. He's not getting a defense from the administration. Does that show just how structural the whole problem is? We have a problem with a student base that's sort of running the asylum. We have a problem with academics who aren't stepping up and saying what's right. We have a problem with administrators who have other pressures. That it's many things at once.
It's many things, and I had a very educating experience earlier this year in Lancaster. I spoke at the Franklin Marshall College. I was allowed to speak. In fact, I spoke the same night that Charles Murray was chased off stage in Middlebury. So that was a great success, but I was met with posters outside the auditorium, check your white privilege at the door. And I didn't understand, in fact, in the beginning, but I was allowed to speak, and there was a silent protest throughout my speech, and then we had the Q&A, and I tried to say to them that, you know, we should not focus so much on what our differences are. As human beings, we share the same genes, in fact, and we have far more in common than divides us. And they just laughed. And they laughed in a very sinister and sarcastic way, as if I was engaged in some kind of cover-up. And to me that was very educating, and it's really, I think identity politics is a key word here, that basically they believed that we couldn't have a conversation because I'm white and they were black, or I'm a non-Muslim and they were Muslims. And we have so different experiences that we are just not able to share the same universe. While in fact we know from art, from marriages, from our traveling, that every human being has the capacity to put himself in another person's shoes. Write about it, talk about it, play it on stage, or whatever it is. And I think you know, this pigeonholing everybody into these boxes of religion or ethnicity and culture is very, very bad.
Ironically, that is actual prejudice. That is prejudging based on these immutable characteristics.
And it reduces you just to one part of who you are as a human being. I mean, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm probably an atheist, I'm an expert on Russia, I'm a senior fellow at Cato, I'm a Tottenham Hotspurs soccer fan. I mean, I'm all kinds of things, and I just don't want my identity to be reduced to just one aspect. And that's what all these things are doing. And that's also the way you can control people. And tell them what to think and what to believe and so on and so forth.
So are you saying that we shouldn't apologize to everyone for being white? Because there are 3 white guys up here. You guys want to boo us, or tomatoes, or say sorry?
So one point here. What it reduces us to as members of a larger group. So this is and what we're talking about here, we are seeing the consequences of a long, you know, many decades, even centuries of very bad philosophy. And there are there's a lot that one can say about it. Part of it is collectivism. And I think the best way to describe it in today's world is it's tribalism. It's you are a member of a tribe, and you should say only what that tribe says. And I mean, if you look at the way tribes function, they always rigidly enforce, you know, tribal adherence, and because the whole idea is there is no such thing as the individual. There's only a member of a group, and your role as an individual is just to give yourself over and sacrifice your life for the good of the group. There's another element of this, which is, and I raised this before, it's an attack on reason. I mean, the multiculturalists, the identity politics people, the intersectionality people, the postmodernists, which is a lot of what you're seeing on campus today, they deny the whole idea of an objective reality that we can know and that we can discuss and talk about. If you deny objective reality, what is left? I mean, what they say is reality is just a social construct, and that we're all effectively, we're in effect created by the dominant views, and that the world consists of oppressors and oppressed. We're all just part of groups. You have to have something to guide you in life, and if you're not going to be guided by your own mind and your own individual thought process, you've got to be guided by something. And what they're guided by now is either it's emotion, or it's adherence to some group. So they don't really, I think kids have been totally philosophically and intellectually disarmed. They don't know how to approach the world. And if you attack or criticize them, they immediately lash out at you because they've been intellectually deprived. They've been deprived of the ability to think.
Is this also